Today, we're going to take a closer look at the digital tools we all use every single day. You know, we all think we know them, but as we're about to see, there's a huge difference between just using them and truly mastering them.
So let me ask you this. You open up a document, you build a quick spreadsheet. It feels like second nature, right? But are you just getting by, or are you genuinely proficient? Because that gap, the one between knowing and mastering, that's where all the real power is hiding. So let's start with this first big idea. I want you to start thinking about these skills as your digital superpowers. Seriously, because they are so much more than just the basics. They're the tools that really unlock productivity and professionalism. Now check out the contrast here. It's pretty stark, isn't it? A casual user, yeah, they might take 30 minutes to manually format a report, clicking around, getting frustrated. But a competent professional, they do it in 30 seconds using styles. One person struggles, the other just flies. That's the difference between just finishing a task and absolutely excelling at it.
And look, this isn't just a nice-to-have idea. The source material calls this proficiency fundamental. It's the absolute bedrock of your confidence. Just think about it for a second. When you know your tools inside and out, you can focus on the quality of your thinking, not on fighting with the software itself.
And this isn't some arbitrary standard we're talking about. These skills are actually benchmarked against internationally recognized frameworks, like the ICDL. That's the International Certification of Digital Literacy. So when you master them, you've got a verifiable measure of your competence that's understood literally anywhere in the world. Okay, let's build on that. Our second section is all about mastering documents. This is where we break down that whole journey, from staring at a scary blank page to creating a truly polished professional report that you're proud of. You can really think of creating a document as a four-stage journey. First, you just get the raw text down. Then, you give it structure and style so it's easy to read. After that, you make it pop by adding things like tables or images. And finally, you do that last polish and get it ready for the world. True proficiency means you're a master of every single one of these steps. And this is where that proficiency really, really shows. It's about using the right tools for the job. So instead of manually hunting for a word you need to change, a pro uses find and replace. Instead of fighting with fonts and spacing, they just apply a predefined style for instant consistency. These aren't just little features, they are massive, massive time savers.
All right, so if documents are all about structuring words, our third section here is about making data tell a story. This is where we move beyond text and learn how to turn those, let's be honest, kind of intimidating spreadsheets into clear, actionable insights. Okay, so take a look at this. It's a simple table of sales data. You can read the numbers, sure, but it's really hard to spot a trend or quickly see who's winning, right? It's just data. And then, bam, this is the magic of spreadsheets. With basically a single click, that same boring data becomes a story. You can see instantly that the East region is crushing it in Q2. That's the power we're talking about, transforming complexity into total clarity. So how do you actually create that magic? Well, it really comes down to these core skills. First, you have to manage the data, sorting it, filtering it. Then you let formulas and functions do all the heavy lifting for you. And finally, you use formatting to make the most important information jump right off the page, guiding your audience's eyes exactly where they need to go. Now, here's a concept that really, and I mean really, separates the beginners from the pros. Cell references. Understanding the difference between a relative reference that changes as you copy it and an absolute one that stays locked, that's what those little dollar signs are for, is the key to efficiency. It's what lets you write one formula and have it work perfectly across thousands of rows without breaking a sweat. So you've mastered these skills. What's next? Well, our final section brings it all home. We're going to connect these skills to real-world success and talk about what this proficiency actually means for you. Being truly competent isn't just about knowing the functions. It's measured by your ability to actually do the work without help, to produce a final product that's totally error-free, and to follow best practices, like using clear file names. It's the whole package, the knowledge, the application, and the professionalism. And it's so important to remember that this is just the beginning. The core idea here is that these skills are your foundation, your launch pad. You can't build anything more advanced, whether it's data analysis or project management, without having this solid base to build upon. So we'll leave you with this final thought. We've established that these
are the absolute essential building blocks for pretty much any digital work. The real question is, now that you know what mastery looks like, what are you going to build with them?